I should have known something was wrong the moment I stepped into the hotel lobby. It wasn't anything obvious, no flickering lights, no ominous music humming in the background. Just an atmosphere, thick and cloying, like the air before a thunderstorm. The receptionist barely looked up as I approached, her fingers tapping idly at a keyboard that didn't seem to be connected to anything. The name tag pinned to her stiff blazer simply read Martha. But she didn't look like a Martha. She looked vacant, like someone had emptied her out and forgotten to put something back. "Room 709, she said, sliding the key across the counter without bothering to check my ID. Her voice was flat, mechanical. "Take the elevator." I hesitated, but exhaustion won. I had been driving for hours, and all I wanted was a bed. The elevator was one of those old ones with a brass grate instead of proper doors, the kind that shuddered with each floor. The moment I stepped in, a heavy sense of unease settled in my chest. The button panel had numbers, but no labels for lobby or basement, just a row of floors leading up to 10. I jabbed at 7 and watched the doors creak shut. The ascent was slow, too slow. The light above flickered as the car groaned its way up. My reflection in the dull brass walls looked warped, stretched. I felt my breath quicken. Then the elevator stopped. Not on the 7th floor, not on any floor, just stopped. A silence pressed in. I could hear my own heartbeat, loud and frantic. I reached for the emergency button, but before I could press it, the elevator jerked violently, the lights flaring too bright before plunging into total darkness. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, something breathed. Not me, something else. A slow, rattling inhale, right behind me. I spun so fast I nearly lost my balance, my hands slamming against the brass walls for support. My reflection flickered and blurred in the dim emergency light, but there was no one else there. The elevator jolted back to life, lurching upward as the dim bulbs flickered weakly on. The doors slid open to the 7th floor, and I all but stumbled out into the hallway, my skin prickling with something close to panic. The hallway stretched out on either side, carpeted in the garish pattern of red and gold swirls that made my eyes ache. Dim sconces cast pools of yellow light along the walls. The air was stale, heavy with something that smelled faintly of mildew. Room 709 was at the far end. As I walked, I became aware of how quiet it was. Hotels were rarely silent. There was always the distant hum of TVs, the murmur of voices behind closed doors, the occasional sound of footsteps. But here, there was nothing, not even the dull hum of ventilation. I reached my room and slid the key into the lock. It turned easily, the door swinging open without resistance. The room inside was standard, if a little outdated. A heavy floral bedspread, an old TV perched on a wooden dresser, a small writing desk against the wall. But something about it felt wrong. I couldn't place it at first, but as I stepped inside, it hit me. The room was too clean, too untouched, as if no one had ever stayed here before. Then the door slammed shut behind me. I whirled around, my pulse hammering. The chain lock rattled slightly from the force, but nothing else moved. I stood there for a long moment, my breath coming in short gasps, listening. Silence. I shook my head. I was just tired, imagining things. I forced myself to move, dropping my bag on the bed and making my way to the bathroom. Flicking on the light, I splashed cold water on my face and avoided looking into the mirror for too long. Something about the way my reflection moved just a fraction too slow made my stomach twist. I turned off the light and stepped back into the room and froze. The closet door was open. I was sure, absolutely sure, I hadn't opened it. The crack of darkness beyond the door yawned wider, an abyss that seemed to stretch far deeper than the tiny closet should allow. My feet felt rooted to the floor. The air had shifted, grown colder. Then I heard it again. The breathing, slow, measured, coming from the closet. I took a step back, my legs trembling. My phone. I needed my phone. It was in my bag, still on the bed. But to get to it, I had to turn my back on the closet. The breathing grew louder. Then, a whisper. My name. I bolted. I didn't grab my bag. Didn't grab my phone. Just ran, yanking the door open so hard it crashed against the wall. The hallway was still empty, still too quiet, but I didn't care. I sprinted for the elevator, slamming the down button repeatedly. The doors took too long, too damn long. Behind me, my room door creaked open. I didn't turn around. The elevator dinged, the doors sliding open just as something soft brushed against the back of my neck. I stumbled in, hitting the lobby button without looking, my breath coming in short, ragged gasps. The dough